you cannot change your outer world unless you change your inner world. And you have to, the manifestation works actually very, very easy, right? When we release our limiting beliefs and programs, then we start to be in a different vibration and we start to attract things. But we need to be humble, we need to be dedicated, and we need to go for it, right? Despite what's gonna be all the obstacles, what's gonna be coming and everything else. It's just like never give up
Mm.
on your dreams. Work on your limiting beliefs that you said, right? We've been going in the past on those, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not this enough. And once you rewire it, you're gonna see the life is so much more beautiful.
Hello, hello, and welcome back to Journey of a Fearless Female. I am your host, Paola Rosser, and this week my guest is Liene. She is the master of the subconscious mind, entrepreneur, and the creator of a highly acclaimed course on manifestation, The Wealth Formula. With experience coaching over 15,000 people, she's crafted a 15-minute formula to solve any problem, aiming to enhance health, wealth, and relationships. Liene is a highly accomplished public speaker, best-selling author, and a certified hypnotherapist with a remarkable track record in Latvia. Having previously built 2 seven-figure businesses, she is also a business and mindset coach known for her transformative work. Her mission is to impact and empower over 1 million lives. Everybody, please welcome Liene. Hi, I'm so excited to have you here. So tell us about your journey. Let's start from the beginning.
Okay, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me. I feel very honored. Well, yeah, now when you were reading the description, and I could see in my eyes all these moments, what I've been doing and what I haven't been doing, so that I get to this point where I can serve so many people. But I'm coming from very poor family, right? My mom, even I remember moments when my mom wouldn't be, with me. She would be working 24/7 and dad. And while other children were playing in the playground, I was waiting for her at home because, I was missing her so much. And there were even moments when she was counting pennies because she had to buy food for us. And of course, all the fights around the money. I don't know if you can resonate with me or no, but like I wouldn't suggest anybody to go through this as a kid. And throughout my life, when you didn't have your parents by your side, they were so busy taking care of family, then I was really seeking for love. And
Mm.
always I was feeling like, I need to prove myself so that people love me, so that people accept me. And everybody has their own mechanism, the vehicle, how they are at getting attention. So for
Mm.
me was to be a perfectionist. Then I had, all the perfect grades, I would be in all the competitions. Then I became a dancer. I was 5 times a champion in my country. And
Wow.
yeah, like it was, and at that time you would be thinking it's great, but what it was requiring from me physically and psychologically, I never felt like I'm enough.
Mm.
And I was feeling like I need to do something so that people accept me and love me. And then throughout this journey, when I was 24, I met my husband. Long story short, we were living in Egypt for 2 years. Then we came back to my country and we started our business with 17,000 euros in our
Mm.
packet. It's like $17,000 in our packet. And we were thinking like, let's see. I didn't have any experience in the business, so we didn't have enough money, but we had this willingness to do and achieve and accomplish. And within a few years, we built 8 restaurant chain selling
Wow.
franchises abroad. We had the production, like They were even saying that we are the fastest growing chain in the Europe. It was very, very, very successful. So for me, it was like, you see, I'm again on the top of the game. Everybody will love me now. You see?
Yeah.
And I became more and more miserable,
Mm.
empty, miserable, tired, because I got this program from my parents that I need to work really hard in order for me to make money. Then, that nothing comes easy. And I was working really hard when I would go on vacation with my husband. Like, I would have all these beautiful clothes and bags and everything, but I would get sick just because I was so exhausted because I was pushing myself.
Yeah.
And it came to the moment when I I had some problems in the business. I lost baby
Mm.
at the same time because it was just so stressful. And then it was a wake up call for me that something is not working well. I need to start my journey. And I started my personal development journey with the Tony Robbins. I know
Wow.
you are you are
Yes.
one of the Tony Robbins speakers, right?
Yes, I love Tony Robbins. So let's go back a little bit about your journey. I love that you said that growing up, your mom was working and she was trying to survive and feed you guys. And even though she was doing the best that she could with the tools that she had, you were still aching for her love. And I talk about this on my podcast all the time, how as children, we really need that love, that safe place. We need to feel like we are wanted. And when we don't get those things in childhood, we look for them like feverishly for the rest of our lives. I just did a video the other day about how we think that happiness and joy and that feeling of feeling whole comes from outside things. And I love that you made the example that you were, traveling and you had all these clothes and all these purses and all these beautiful things, but inside you were still hurting. You were still aching for that love, that need from your mom and from your parents. Like, I too resonate very well with that. Like, no matter how much I've had in my life, the cars, the trips, the clothes, the jewelry, everything, I still ached for what I didn't get in childhood. I was just talking to another woman where, she's calling me. She's like, I think I need coaching. And she's a coach herself. And we were having this long conversation. And I'm like, there's nothing that I'm telling you that you don't already know. It's not coaching that you need. It's not another book that you need to read. It's not another course you need to take. And it's definitely not another conference you need to go to. You really need to get to the subconscious root that is ruling you, which is people don't understand how much your subconscious is actually running the program that's been installed in your brain. So let's talk about how you discovered subconscious healing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the way you described it all because up until 7 years, we are like a sponges. We are
Mhm.
taking everything. We don't have this filter system. This is what's serving me, what's not. We are literally taking everything. That's why I'm very careful what my children are watching, right? My son is like, why you don't let me to watch this one? I'm like, this is not good for you. So very, very careful because this programming, even from the cartoons, it's
Mhm.
like it's it's very crazy.
When did you discover subconscious
Okay.
healing?
Okay. So I went to my first Tony Robbins event. It was my dream because I watched his movie,
I'm not your
this
guru.
I'm Not Your Guru.
Oh my
And
gosh, I got chills. That is seriously the movie that we watched, me and my husband. And we went on, like, as soon as we watched it, we were like, I need to sign up.
exactly. And so I was sitting there and I'm like, I want to be like him. He's helping so many people. He's serving, he's changing people's lives. And I'm, building restaurants, which is not, I don't contribute to the world.
Yeah.
So it was my dream. I hired one of the Tony Robbins coaches back then, Delina, and she gifted me a ticket. I'm like,
Oh,
and she said like that. She said, Lena, you have 7 days, and in the next 7 days there is a UPW in San Jose, and I have never been there. I live in Latvia. California is like 10 hours ahead. So I said, Mom, my daughter was 3 years old. My husband, I said, honey, I'm going. I don't care what, how, but I'm going there. So I bought my tickets and I flew to San Jose. And Paula, I was standing there, and I can tell you, for the first time in my life, I felt like these are my peers. I
Mm,
want to be here and I want to be part of this, because always I've been too loud, too energetic, too noisy, too this, too much. Like everything was too.
yeah.
All of these 15,000 people, as crazy as I am, right?
Yes. Oh my God. I can totally, I'm getting so many chills. I could totally relate. It's crazy that you're on the other side of the world and yet we're so soul sisters, because I felt the exact same thing. I walked into, and for those of you who've never been to a Tony Robbins event, you walk in and it's literally like a club, because they have the music pumping super loud. They have lasers and lights, and everyone is like standing up and they're dancing in place. And the energy that's in the room is like pulsating through your veins. And I just remember thinking, this, this is where I belong.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I felt the same way. And I said, I don't know how, what, but I want to be part of this. So listen very carefully. So then I decided to quit my business. And because, we were on the edge of almost getting divorced with my husband, because to run so big business together also, it's not a paradise. And then I said, okay, what could I do? I don't know, what can I do? Well, I'm going to go and just study for fun coaching. I
Mhm.
finished this coaching school. I got the certificate. And I like everything big, the best coach in the world, the best this. And I'm like, who is the best one in the marketplace? Of course, Tony Robbins. And then also a friend of mine said that there are applications open. You can become a Tony Robbins coach. So I sent my application. And of course, nobody even noticed it. Nobody bothered. Next year, I was like, okay, what can I improve? What can I change? And I sent again an application and they interviewed me. And I think from 1,400 people, they picked 47 for going Tony Robbins Coaching Academy. And I was one of them. And then at the end of the 3 months, I was one of the 17 people who got picked as a Tony Robbins coach. So can you imagine?
Wow.
It's like intention, then the dream. And you know what, Paula? I was so imagining all the time. And there were so many obstacles. Who am I? I'm from this small country. I'm not speaking perfectly English. There are so many, like, so much more. Like, I cannot explain you, like, these people who were there. I was thinking, I'm like, I'm behind there.
Mm,
I became one just
that's
because I was
incredible.
dreaming, visualizing, and I had this intention.
Yeah. The power of visualizing is seriously so incredible. I talk to my clients about that too, is how our limited mindset as a human being tries to tell us all the things that, oh, the reasons why you shouldn't become that, or why you shouldn't even apply. Like even just listening to you say, I don't speak proper English, I'm this, I'm that. That's our negative, like inner critic, our ego saying, no, 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 stay here because this is where it's safe. If you go out there, you have the possibility of being embarrassed. You have the possibility of being made fun of, because the ego, the inner critic, is just trying to protect you. The subconscious mind, that's its only job, is to protect you from, getting hurt and like feeling the embarrassment or feeling the pain. But in reality, that's where you can really find your dreams. It's outside of your comfort zone. It's outside. And then you actually go for your dreams and you realize it wasn't so hard and it wasn't so scary, and the tiger didn't get you. Like, it's just such an incredible thing to do every single time, and to use your imagination. Like, I think about my life. I was just talking to one of my friends. I was driving home from a town that I used to live in, and I used to live in this small studio apartment, less than 400 square feet. I was unemployed, I was single, I was depressed, I like hated my life, and I was like barely making enough money to pay my bills. Hills. And I just went to that place, that same town, to get like a facial from the spa. I'm driving in my Mercedes Benz. I'm driving to my $1 million home. I have more money on my finger than I ever made in that year living there. And I'm like, who am I? Like, how did my life change so much? Because I imagined, I had a vision board, I had the intention, I wrote down lists of things that I wanted in my life. And people don't understand just how powerful that
Absolutely.
formula is.
Absolutely. Yeah, of course. And like one thing also that I don't want to wrong people, because a lot of people right now want to do it easy, right? The
Hmm.
Secret movie also is showing you just make a vision board and you just visualize. But as a hypnotherapist myself, and you also work with the subconscious mind, I want that people understand that they can change their outer world without changing their inner world. And
Yes.
the way I see it is like, it's good that we have these hurdles. It's good that it's not easy. It's good that we need to hustle. It's good that we need to be humble. It's making us to become the best versions of ourselves on the journey, because it's not about this Mercedes, like, and Porsche and everything else. It is about, who am I becoming on the way
Hmm.
when I'm achieving this? Because I don't want to be like, rich, billionaire, miserable, sitting on the yacht. I've had like that people who are saying, I'm on this yacht, right? I have everything I ever dreamed of. I'm cheating on my wife. I'm like, I'm doing, and I'm miserable. So
Hmm.
for me, this is not a happiness, because it's not only about these materialistic things. It's
Yeah, I
about,
completely
am I
agree.
becoming free? Because your biggest jail is not the jail where people go, it's right here. And trust me, like 95% of the people, they're living in the jail,
Oh,
if not
I
more.
completely agree. I remember when my husband and I, we were in Bora Bora. Like, this is a place that I had been
I wish
visualizing
list.
and dreaming. And I'm in this beautiful hut that's like overlooking the crystal blue waters. I mean, it's like a scene from the magazine. And both my husband and I, because we had gone through such a horrible lawsuit with a friend of his, and we could not enjoy ourselves. We
Mm-hmm.
were so broken by the betrayal and we were so hurt by everyone. And like, that's the thing. It's like, I love that you said it doesn't matter what you have on the outside. And it doesn't, because if you can't work on the inside, you're never truly going to enjoy the outside. And I've done so much subconscious healing and so much work because I did fix the outside, but the inside isn't like making me happy. You can have all the things in the world and still be miserable. And I have come across, because, after I married my husband, who was very, very successful from his business, like, I came into a whole nother world of people with money. And I'm thinking, these people, they know what it is to be joyous and happy. And like you said, you encounter people who have all these things and they're still miserable because they never really worked on the core root of what is causing that misery.
It's funny that you say right now. Exactly. We were also with my husband in Italy. So, and I remember I was speaking with one of my advisors back then. I had some challenges, and he said, Lena, you are in one of the most beautiful places in the world, but you are now, going into these problems. You are allowing your mind to live in the challenges and problems instead of changing. But Paola, what is interesting, what I think that people should know, and I think this is the hardest thing, that actually we are addicted to these thoughts, to this negativity. Do you agree with
Hmm.
me? It's like it's
Yes.
kind of feeding something in us. And if we've been raised and the society is saying we need to suffer, you cannot have problem and to be joyful. If you have a problem, then you need to suffer, right? We are
Yeah.
like going and adding some more extra layers and dramatizing and everything.
Yeah.
But we can have a problem in the business, with this lawsuit and everything. But at the same time, we can let it go and just enjoy the moment. And I
Hmm.
think this is the mastery that everybody should strive for.
I agree with you. I think that so many, we're even programmed to believe that you can't have it all because you're like, if you listen to the news or you watch, here we have TMZ. I'm sure you have like what is it called? The newspapers, the gossip magazines.
Right,
You
right,
know,
right.
you could have like the most beautiful actress or the most wealthiest person. They want to find the dirt. They want to find something to tear them down. It's like programmed within us that you can't have it all because there's something going to be wrong. Our mind is constantly looking for what is wrong, what's going to happen that's going to make it all fall apart, what's going to make me lose it all, rather than thinking what's the best that can happen. What if
Yeah.
everything that I want is looking for me? What if all my desires are, what if I'm worthy of all of this? That was something that was really hard for me to accept in the beginning of my relationship, because now I come into this newfound wealth and it was like, wait a minute, why me? Why not my friends? Why not my sister? Why am I so deserving of this? And then I started to feel, I gained the weight because I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to like protect
Oh,
myself, right?
right.
You have to protect
Yes,
yourself.
yes.
And you come across, it's crazy what the subconscious mind is doing, and you don't know until you really start doing the inner work, right? So
Absolutely.
tell us a little bit about, I know that you wrote a book, so tell us a little bit about that journey, because I'm on the journey of trying to finish my book. It's been
Okay.
5 years in the making.
Okay,
So
I
tell us how
see.
you started that journey, and what's the name of your book?
So actually, I made the decision that I want to, because I'm serving a lot of people here in my country on the confidence, on wealth, on health, on relationship. And then I was like, okay, I need to put this together so that I can help more people. And of course, I was writing it for a year, as you can imagine. Always when people say, I'm going to write within 3 months or 6 months, like add another year or a half a year, and then you will be right? So we are actually writing with my husband another book as well. And then I wrote this book, but I was also, what's going to be the name of the
Hmm.
book? And I was meditating, and it just came so clearly. So the name was in Latvian, Ar tevi viss ir kārtībā. It's like everything is okay with you.
Oh.
But in Latvian, it just sounds so good. I didn't put the same name for the English version, but like it just was so good. You know what happened? I have audience, and I went on Instagram and I said, look, guys, I have written the book. It's gonna come out in September. I didn't have a cover of the book. I didn't have the name of the book, nothing. I just said it's going to be about my journey, how I have transitioned. I sold in that moment 780 copies
Wow.
without the name, without the cover, nothing. People knew nothing about it. Just they said, we want to buy your book. So the book came out in October. And so you can see all the way back, like with my hands like that. And then I was thinking, like, I want to serve and contribute to more people. So I translated the book, and this is my book now in English, which is Unstoppable You. When people see me, see my journey, they're like, Liene, you are unstoppable. So I had to put the name, Overcome Doubts and Embrace Your Full Potential. And what is also funny, I have recorded an audiobook by myself in the studio with my broken English, just because I really wanted that people see that things don't have to be perfect. You know,
Yes.
I don't want to, because I've lived in my limiting beliefs. My English is not good enough. I don't have this enough. I'm not, this enough. And I was like, no, I'm going to go and do despite my previous beliefs, despite what people going to say. And the person who was in the studio, so he was recording, he said, Lena, do you realize that usually actors are recording the books? I'm like,
Mm.
well, probably. Then he's like, do you realize that there are some regisseurs who are coming and guiding the process? I said, I can do it by myself. And it became, he said, the result is just perfect. So, yeah, this is my journey.
I
You can
love
ask
it.
me. question.
Yeah, I love it. I love that you did it with your own voice. I love that you pressed on because it is sometimes it really is your limiting beliefs that are holding you back. All these
Every
things,
time,
right?
darling,
Every single
all the
time.
time.
And it's a thing that you have to work on a daily basis. Like people don't understand. You don't go to one Tony Robbins event or you do one subconscious healing or you do one meditation or you journal and you think, "Oh, I'm good, I'm cured, everything's gonna." No, you've had years of programming and you have to have years of the untethering of that program to install a whole new program. I tell people our brain is like a supercomputer and it learns by repetition. So you have to do this over and over. You have to repeat the mantras, the affirmations. You have to do the work every single day because what it's doing, it's constantly trying to go back to the old program. So I love that you using your words, you call it broken English, but I love your accent. Like I'm a Mexican. My sisters were born in Mexico, but I was first generation American. And my mom and my dad were always like, you cannot have a broken English, but I see my sisters who have like that accent. I'm like, I wish I would have had that accent because I think it's sexy. I think it's beautiful, right? It
I
shows that,
agree with
right?
you.
It shows that you're different, and even when growing up, when I was like older and I was going to bars and I would hear like a guy have an accent, I'm like, ooh, where are you from? Like you just like want to know where they're from. And I've had clients who are from different countries and they have an accent there and they don't want to show up on social media and they don't want to do a video or they don't even want to be on my podcast because they're afraid of how they're going to sound. When in reality, like if you stand up and you use your voice, then someone who has the same accent and comes from the same country can look at you and say, if she can do it, then I can do it. I know that I once spoke on stage and the only Hispanic girl in the audience, because I was doing a thing in San Diego, most everybody was white. And she came up to me afterwards and she's like, I was about to leave until you started talking. And I realized there's another Latina like me. And I resonated with you and your story. And that's what we need. We need to stand up and use our voice. Like, I love that you said, I want to impact and empower a million people. How are we going to impact and empower people if we stay in our comfort zone?
I have a story actually. So recently I hired another marketing guy who is doing Facebook ads for me. And so he guided me, what needs to be the points, and I'm sending him the video. And he sends me back the message, Liana, it is very good, it's very authentic, but you need to re-record it because there are some small mistakes. They're not major, but some small mistakes. I was sitting like 5 minutes thinking about it, and I'm sending him WhatsApp message. I said, Arturs, I'll just tell you a thing. The whole life I've been believing that my English is not good enough to go into international market, and it was always holding me back. And I believe that people don't bother about my imperfect English. What they care is my experience, my professionalism, my dedication. My experience, I have coached over 3,000 one-on-one people. I've built 2 7-figure businesses. I have had 200 people on my team. I have all the experience. I've been, coming from poverty, and I built by myself with my husband everything we have right now. And right now, I want to share this with the world. And with this message, with this video, I want that people see that they do not have to be perfect, and it can be, you're gonna be making mistakes
Yeah.
100%. But the question is how you see it. So I'm not gonna re-record this video. I want that people see it, and you don't have any chance to make me re-record this video. He's like,
Yeah.
yes, you're right, I got your point. And I said, my energy is more important than my words. People don't see
Yes.
it. And people who speak perfect English, I speak 4 languages, right? 4 languages, so this is
I
funny.
I love it. I really do because I like nobody starts being perfect. No one. There's no one that starts anything, whether you're an author, a podcaster, whether you are doing social media videos. Like people look at me and they're like, "Oh my God, you're so good at podcasting." But go rewind and go back to my very first episode. I was
Exactly.
stumbling over my words. I was nervous. You could feel my energy of being like, "Ugh," like I couldn't even, I was nervous. And even the first 3 years of my podcast, I didn't do a YouTube channel because I was so afraid of like, what are people going to say about my hair? What are people going to say about my makeup? We have all these things that we have to push forward and keep going because no one starts out being perfect. You'll learn by failure. Failure is actually the way we learn. I love that Tony Robbins says that when you first start walking and you fall and you're crawling, your mom doesn't say, "Okay, she can't learn how to walk. Bring her a
Okay.
wheelchair." No, you fall and you fall and you roll and you finally get on your feet and then you start walking. That's basically the pattern of life. No matter what you're going to try in life, you're going to fall, you're going to fail, you're going to get back up, and then you're going to perfect whatever it is that you want to do. So,
And beautiful, right? And it's like it's not your loss, it's your it's your benefit actually. It is what's making you beautiful, sharpening you as a diamond.
oh, I love that. All right, Leanne, as we wrap up this episode, what would be your nugget of wisdom for anyone who is listening or watching on YouTube now?
Okay. So the first thing that I said, you cannot change your outer world unless you change your inner world. And you have to, the manifestation works actually very, very easy, right? When we release our limiting beliefs and programs, then we start to be in a different vibration and we start to attract things. But we need to be humble, we need to be dedicated, and we need to go for it, right? Despite what gonna be all the obstacles, what's gonna be coming and everything else. It's just like never, never give up
Mhm.
on your dreams. Work on your limiting beliefs that you said, right? We've been going in the past on those, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not this enough. And once you rewire it, you're gonna see the life is so much more beautiful.
Oh, I love it. Okay, how can my audience find you and how can they get your book?
So the book is actually on Amazon, Unstoppable You by Liene Uresina, and www.lieneUresina.com, LIENEURESINA.com, and also, of course, my Instagram account where I'm sharing all the tools, all the experiences, and I'm giving massive value.
Oh,
So
I love it. And you'll find all of her links in the show notes.
exactly. Thank you so much, Paola, for having me. I appreciate it. It's been such an honor.
Oh, thank you so much for she's on the other side of the world, so it's a totally different time zone over there. So thank you for waking up and doing this with me. Thank you again for listening to Journey of a Fearless Female. I'm your host, Paola Rosser. If you're looking for a life coach or a spiritual mentor, you can book a free discovery call with me at www.fearlessfemale.com. You can also follow me on Instagram at fearlessfemale_coach, subscribe to my YouTube channel at fearlessfemale, or find me on TikTok. I'm under at paola.rosser. And if you love this episode, make sure you hit subscribe, share it with your friends, and leave a review. I read every single review, and I truly appreciate the time you spend writing it.